Good afternoon to you. It is Thursday, June 19th at 3:58 p.m. You're probably winding down. Let's be real honest. You're not going to work hard this afternoon. You just didn't have it in you. So you thought, I'll partake. I had the bell rung. I'm going to go and listen to Boiler Dowd talk about nothing. Well, here you are. Look at you. Ted Berkey's here first. He knows what I'm talking about. So I've actually been really busy this last week with work stuff. So that's kind of fun. That's new for me because after just an absolute drought as a contractor doing what I do, designing things for people. But that's good. Hope, in all seriousness, hope your job's good. Hope things are good with you. Hope you're busy. The good type of busy, not the type that makes you crazy. I'm going to talk about a couple topics, but before I do, I want to thank our friends at Homefield Apparel. Head over to homefieldapparel.com, enter Boiled25 at checkout. You'll get 15% off. I'll have to change that code soon. Being future forward, got to talk to the good people at Homefield. Yeah, they've got really cool stuff. Check out the Gene Katie Play Hard hat. It's a good one. It's not a hard hat. It's a play hard hat. Also, when you're on campus and it's not in season, it's sunny, it's beautiful, and you just decide to stop by God's country, what do? Well, first, you go check out one of the fountains, just kind of reminisce about the good old days. But you also, after you do that, should head towards the fire station. When you get there, look for the blue and black sign of AJ's. Underneath that sign, there's going to be always congregated quite a crowd. Underneath that sign will be the best service, the best food. If you got that reference, you're old. The best pub fare on campus. You can get a pint. Maybe you'll have a boiled sports magnet at the bottom of it. Burgers, beef, beer. That's AJ's. AJ's by the fire station. EatAJ's.com. Did not see that Pearl Jam reference coming into my head there, but it did. So I sang. By the way, speaking of singing, I want to do something because, and you're going to get to hear me sing twice. Because no one knows this song but me and my brothers, and it existed. So the Pacers had a jingle in the mid-'80s, and it was called Pacer Pride. And it was on commercials, and it was on the radio. It was on like probably WIBC, whatever. And it went like this. Pacer Pride, the pride of Indiana. It's Pacer Pride. Okay, so that's it. That's all you're getting. It's called Pacer Pride. It's a jingle from the Pacers when they sucked. And it's been in my head now for weeks as I've watched the Pacers in the playoffs. And I've looked around. I can't find it anywhere. I need it to be found. If you know someone with access to a deep archive of bad jingles, maybe they'll have it. People have tried to help me. People do not know it, though. Other than me and my brother, no one remembers that damn jingle. So, but it happened. I didn't make it up, but I wanted to sing it since you were here in the middle of your week, and we're here to talk about nothing since it's the summer. There's your Pacer Pride jingle from the mid-'80s. There was one in the 70s, too, after they won their third ABA championship. It's on, it was also done by WIBC, but it's on YouTube, and it's worse somehow than that thing that I just sang. But the one that I sang from the mid-'80s was at least catchy. I'm gonna do an audible here. I'm gonna talk about the Pacers since I just did that. Okay, so Pacers are in trouble in their series from Oklahoma City. Last time I talked to you, they were up 2-1. Looked like they might grab control, but the league, I think, and the Pacers conspired together to cool themselves off and to throw a wet blanket on the Pacers' momentum. Losing at Gainbridge was a big deal that last game. And I posted a quick snippet of SGA traveling and pushing off, and 800,000 people have viewed it so far. That's pretty unusual because I don't talk about things that are this popular. But the NBA being bad at officiating and favoring certain players and not calling calls, this is not a new thing. NBA not calling traveling is not a new thing. NBA not calling a push-off is not a new thing. If you're a Bulls fan, you know the debate. Michael Jordan versus the Jazz. It's not a new thing. I understand that. But it gets old to watch a guy do the same shit over and over and over, especially as your favorite team is floundering around. They need something to go their way. The Pacers have done themselves no favors. Benedict Mathurin missing a bunch of free throws. He's an 89% free throw shooter this year, and he doesn't hit free throws down the stretch right now. Pacers are missing open jump shots. Pacers now have Halliburton injured. That's all bad news. Feels like all the momentum has gone away. Do I think the Pacers are going to win in Indy this next game? I do. I think they're just going to will themselves, grit it out, and then I think they'll lose in Game 7. I'm kind of a negative Nancy, if you will, but it's not a ton of fun to watch this series kind of peter out the way it is, because the Pacers, there's a ton of self-inflicted wounds. Many of the guys that came up big and played above themselves for weeks during this playoffs aren't doing it anymore. Seems like some of the magic might be gone. And on top of that, like I said, Halliburton's injury is not helping anything. Pacers will play tonight, I believe. 8:30 tip-off in Indianapolis. I believe that's true. And I became suddenly realistic about why I hated the NBA during the last 2 games, sadly. So I sound like somebody who's sour about something, because I am. I was really excited. I was all in my fair weather bag and enjoying myself, enjoying being entertained. Very entertained, by the way. That's the thing. Regardless of what you think about the NBA and the way the game is played, shot making is shot making. What the Pacers have done to get to this point is just absolutely bonkers. What Tyrese Halliburton has done is crazy. Do I think he's got much left in the tank? Not this season. I think he's been injured for a while, and I think he exacerbated it last game. But he's got a calf issue, and he's also got a bit of a back issue. It looks like he wears an unusual brace when he's on the bench all the time now. So yeah, it just feels like the magic's worn off. So I hope they can win. I really hope they can win. It's been very entertaining for me. Next up, let me talk about the thing I actually set out to talk about, and then I'll hit other unimportant things. The thing I want to talk about, and the reason I put the thumbnail together, was that Purdue is all of a sudden everybody's favorite. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about one of the biggest things is, if you're on Twitter, if you're on social media in general, you'll see that there's a slow rollout of people saying Purdue's my number one, Purdue's my number one, Purdue's my number one. It's craziness. But also, according to Jordan Stocks, I don't know if this is even legit, but Twitter's Jordan Stocks. I don't know who runs the feed. Sometimes it's entertaining. It's funny to me that he has no mention of Purdue on there, but it's pretty much it's a Purdue feed. Maybe he did it just for the point of keeping people guessing. But he says that Braden Smith is number one in Vegas odds to win the Player of the Year next year in college basketball, and TKR is number 5, and then Lawyer is number 20. So I tried to do research on this. I'm not a betting man, and I couldn't find which casino had put that out. I think Smith's odds, were, plus 600. I don't know what any of this means, okay? I don't bet. And people tried to tell me about betting. It's like when people try to tell me about euchre, it doesn't stick. It's like when people try to tell me about anything about accounting. It doesn't stick. I don't understand what you're talking about. I do know that people bet on different things. They bet on everything, and I don't, because I lost $1 in 5th grade betting if Purdue would beat IU. Jason Pugh, I owe you $1. With inflation, it's going to be a lot more than $1. But that's true. That's the last time I think I've bet money. I think that's true. I've done it in jest when I'm just positive about something, but I don't bet. I don't bet monies. That's just me. So, but Purdue is favored to be they're number one in the fake polls, the pollsters who are putting out early things. They've got 3 of the best players in America. Everything keeps getting better at Purdue. And if I could go back 7-8 years and say, yeah, this is going to be happening in 2025. Purdue's going to be a preseason number 1. They're going to be on their 5th straight All-American. 5th straight All-American. Biggie, Edwards, Edie, Smith, TKR. 5 straight overlapping All-Americans. A back-to-back player of the year. If I would have told you that was going to happen in the next 7-8 years, you'd say, shut up, you're smoking something, you're huffing something, you're drinking something. But it's all happened and happening, and we're in the good old days. I keep saying that until it sticks with every Purdue fan, not just some of us. Also, speaking of that Purdue basketball team, Luke Erle, according to Dustin Schutte, he reports that 247 now has Erle just flying up the charts, and he's now the 54th ranked player in America. He's the number 5 point guard according to 247, which is wild because he was outside the hot 100. He was outside the top 100 just weeks ago, and he's making himself known to many people, not only inside but outside the media. He's a bit of a darling for people because he's such a shot maker, and it's great to see. Great to see that. Painter does it again. Painter and staff, they do it. This is what they do. They find guys early. They know they're good, and then they turn out to be good. There's a couple on the roster. I don't know if we forget about them. We don't talk about C.J. Cox. We don't talk about Harris very often, but they're good. And the sophomore year's jump is generally legit, so can't wait for that. Still no word on Daniel Jacobson, if he made the Team USA that he's trying out for, but all indicators look pretty good. At least I haven't seen that update. If it's there, you can tell me in the comments. All right, let's talk about a couple other things that are also unimportant. First one, we'll go Purdue-centric, and I had a request on Twitter to do this, so I'm doing it. Someone asked me if I would talk about ta-da, I'm back. If I would talk about ESPN's prediction for Purdue's football wins, and the big takeaway I had of that was not really Purdue's record, but I'll talk about that for a second. They used I think they call it the FPI, which is based on 20,000 different simulations for each team. I believe that's how it works. But they picked Purdue to win 3 games. I think they're shy by 1. I think Purdue's going to win 4. So I'm not offended or bothered by ESPN picking Purdue to only win 3. The thing that was weird to me, and I'll tell you, I'll go through this real quickly, was that number 1, IU is in the top of the conference. I'm just kidding. That's not unusual. I thought it was unusual to see Iowa down at 6-6. I think that's a perfect Ferentz type thing to go win 10 games when they are predicted to win 6. Nebraska still stuck in the middle. If you don't, at 7 wins, IU also with 7 wins. The funny thing about Nebraska being down there, if you can go back in the way back machine, is they've fired guys for 8 and 9 wins, and now they're stuck down there. That's kind of funny. Jay loves it. And also, there's one other team that really got my attention for being down there. No. Wisconsin stays mediocre. ESPN thinks they'll have 5 wins this year. And that's wild because for so long, it was just a mainstay. Seeing Wisconsin and Iowa up towards the top of the conference, just bludgeoning people, beating the hell out of them with big linemen. It seems like that era has come and gone. Finally, one other thing that's local. Wanted to address IndyCar, just because I thought this last Bommarito 500, the Bommarito Auto Group 500, very catchy, rolls off the tongue. Near East St. Louis, I think. Was it Ridge Lake, Illinois? I don't know. Near East St. Louis, great area. The Bommarito 500 happened last week, and Kyle Kirkwood won the race. But to me, the thing that was most interesting about that race was how good those cars were on that track. It was excellent racing all day. It was excellent racing. It's the type of racing that I miss and that I love, when cars can make passes. There were more passes in that race than an entire season of F1 racing. And even if you like NASCAR, like Jay Money, they even had a little bit of contact from time to time. Coming off those yellows, those guys were putting their elbows out, and pretty fun brand of racing if you like that sort of thing, and I do. So now if you're keeping score at home, that's only 2 drivers that have won an IndyCar race this year, of course. Alex Palou has all of a sudden gone to a cold streak. Not really. And Kyle Kirkwood is got his first oval victory in his IndyCar career. Let's see. I think that's all I got right now. I think that's all. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. Back to the basketball thing. If you want to look back to what Vegas thought about a year ago, what they thought, who was going to win the Player of the Year, They had Cooper Flagg down for doing it. In February, they had in first, second, third, Vegas had Flagg, then Broom from Auburn, and then Smith. Also, of course, just another reminder how good Purdue is in the mind of Vegas and many pollsters. According to FanDuel, Purdue is the favorite to win that national title. Houston's second, and Duke is third. None of it matters, boys and girls. None of it matters, but it's fun to talk to. So why don't we talk about it? All right. So some of you guys are here. Ted Berkey's here. I already gave him credit. I'm going to give it to him again. Good afternoon to you, Ted. Marshall Briggs, how are you? Good to see you here, both in Twitter and here interacting. Great to see you. John Roberts says, hey, the FED was closed today, so I didn't work at all. I got a haircut. The Fed was closed. I got a haircut and got my tires rotated. That's pretty good. That's a pretty productive day. So that's awesome, John. You've now the day is full and complete. You've done many work kind of things. Haircut, that's a lot of work. Got your tires rotated, and now you've listened to B Dowd talk about nothing. Karen Grulock retracted her message. Jeff Nestor says, happy Juneteenth. Same to you. Legit reason to celebrate. Kevin in Albuquerque says, we are present and accounted for. Yes, all of us are here convening as we all agreed to. IC says, good afternoon, B Dowd. Same to you. Joe Inslee says, watching live from 3 Maverick Line at Cedar Point. That's awesome. Joe, that is great. Something to make those lines go quicker is always great, but especially when you're here and we're virtually together. I think I talked about Cedar Point. Did I talk about it a week ago? It is the greatest roller coaster park in America if you like roller coasters. I think maybe it was 2 weeks ago I talked about that. But glad you're there. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. Greg Mandis says, hello there. How are you? And yeah, singing. You got to hear me sing. Congratulations. The funny thing is, time is cruel. Aging is cruel. When I was a little one, I had flowy bleach blonde hair and I could sing like a damn angel. You could ask my siblings or my mom and my dad. They'll vouch for it. When I turned 12 and my voice started changing, everything went to hell. My hair started getting darker. I still had blonde hair sophomore year in high school. But my singing voice went away. And I can't get it back. I've looked everywhere. So, yeah, but glad you got to enjoy that. Greg, he continues, says, I guarantee the NBA wants seven games for the money. No doubt about it. Funny thing is these finals have not been rated very highly. The funny thing about that, I would say, is it shows how stupid people are, because it has been great basketball. The brand of basketball, in spite of the NBA can't get out of its own way, but it has been a fun series, high level basketball. They're actually calling plays, which a lot of NBA teams don't do anything but isolate. Yeah, it's good basketball. It's been to start the games. I would say watch the first few minutes, because watch the plays these teams are running to start the games. It's incredible. And then watch the last 5-7 minutes if you can, and you're going to get a lot out of it. I think it's pretty fun. But I'm very let down, and I could talk a lot about my thoughts of the NBA right now, but I'm not going to do that on the air. I'm just not going to do it right now. But thanks to everybody for weighing in on that conversation on Twitter too. That was a mega thread. So Jarvizda says, holy cow, it's BD. Yep, it's me. It's me. I'm here. Karen Grulock says, Big Maple getting in trouble, speeding in a Kia. Hilarious. Yeah, he was in a Kia Sorrento. Okay, a Kia Sorrento going over 100 miles per hour in the state of Indiana. I don't know where he got pulled over, if anybody knows that. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a funny thought. Sorrento is a mid-size SUV. I don't know if he's choosing to drive that. If he is, good for him being frugal. But I would bet that was a rental car. He came into town to see his boys, and was going a little quickly. So he got a ticket, and ESPN tried to make a deal out of it. I think it was ESPN who published the article. Pretty stupid. Now you're all caught up on the As the World Turns with Zach Eady. Jeff Nestor says, heavy foot with those size 20 shoes. No shit. I mean, sorry about my language, but it'd be impossible. I always marvel at certain things, okay? And a guy that used to come on the show and watch the show very often, going down steps with gigantic feet. I'm not trying to be funny at all, but I literally asked one of my son's friends to do it one time, because I think he wears like a size 15 or something. I have my hands, my feet tiny. I wear a size 7.5, 8, depending on the shoe. But yeah, keeping your foot on the gas without pushing it too hard. The lever, it's so easy to push the gas when your feet are that long, right? You got mechanical advantage. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, Kevin Albuquerque talks about how he can't imagine Zack Fakia, but it's a Sorrento. It's not a tiny one, but still, yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. And when the cop pulls him over, and he says license and registration, does Zack hand it to him out of the back window? Because he's got to be balling, right? He's gonna be leaning way back in that seat. So, but he violated the law. He got his ticket. Jarvis says, if there is a game 7, the Pacers will find a way. I like your faith. I don't have any of it right now. Sorry. I hope you're right. I would be really giddy and happy if the Pacers could do it. IC says, they sure officiate game 4 like they wanted to extend the series. They did. They did everything they could. It felt like to extend that series. And it feels to me like, boy, there's a great Instagram feed that talked about the head official. What's his name? Foster. In that game, he sucks at his job. He's on the baseline most of the time, and he's looking right at some of these plays that are most in question. Yeah, he's bad at his job, but you've heard me talk about officials before. All right. By the way, that officiating crew in that game made college officials look good. So we'll just say that. Leave it right there. Jay Westfall says, Houston checking in. How are you? Money was here. So really? He used to be there. He wasn't there recently. So yeah. Houston is a great town. It's massive. It's hot right now, I'm sure. Probably about 170 degrees. No exaggeration. MSP 138 says Smith rolling in a Cybertruck while the lottery pick is doing 101 in what I assume is his mom's Kia. I would think his mom is not living around Lafayette anymore. I'm almost positive she's not. So my theory is that was a rental car and he was coming back to see his boys. That's just my theory. I don't have any information. Greg Manis says, don't understand euchre. Sir, no, I do not understand euchre. And back in high school, I cared and I tried to play it because it's, I think it's a rite of passage. It's some sort of law or rule or something in Indiana. And I never stuck and I'm okay with it. Now I don't care. I suck at cards. Again, you can ask my siblings if you want any proof of that. Kevin Albuquerque says, thank heavens I'm not the only one who couldn't get the rules of euchre yet. Everybody in my family can play. I mean, there's 4 of us. The three of them can play. I don't, and I don't try now. And now I'm hanging my hat on the fact that I don't play euchre. And I think the longer I go without playing, the more I'm happy that I don't play it. John Roberts says, you were in Kerry Quad and didn't understand euchre. Yes, I was in Kerry Quad. I didn't understand euchre. And I also never have done Magic the Gathering game. And I will never do Magic the Gathering game, which there was a big contingent of Kerry Quad dudes on Friday night doing Magic the Gathering game. And I'm good with both. That wasn't my bag. Greg says, if you think it's confusing, they play pitch out here, which I don't understand what you're saying. UGG or sets and runs up in Wisconsin. I have no idea what you're saying. I'll take your word for it, Greg. I believe it. I bet it's awesome. IC says, apparently Clough and Meyer are having visa issues, hence why they haven't joined the team yet. I've heard half of that's true, but I don't think there's much of a concern of it in the long run, but yeah, it can happen. It can happen. So I think Newbert talked about Clough's visa issues a week ago, last time I saw. So Boiler Bugle says, remember when guys would commit to Purdue and their rank would fall? Hell yeah, I remember. It's not that long ago. Yeah, the worm has turned. All that stuff has changed. It's much different now. Yeah, it's crazy, though. Ron Gable, my buddy, says Jacobson made the final 15 of the U10 team. There you go. So Ron Gable's got your update. I have not been on Twitter a lot last few days, so that's where I get most of that Purdue-centric knowledge, if you could call it that. But thank you, Ron. Too busy. I worked till 2 a.m. the other day, so it's one of those weeks. Greg Manis says U10. Yeah, it's not U10. It's U20. It's funny. It's funny. Good catch. And I read it and I didn't even think of it. So it's U20. The team is the U20, not the U10. Brock Stepler says, made it live finally. Boiler up. Going to listen on my way home. Excellent. Enjoy your drive. Drive safely. Glad to be here. Nate Dolan says, Bahamas trip. Are you asking me? You want to take me? I'll gladly go to the Bahamas trip. Yeah, was it the Bahamar? Is that what it's called? That's going to be awesome. Do you see some of the pictures that the Purdue Sports feed released of the Bahamas and the colors of blue in the water? My gosh, I want to go there. Any of you are welcome to take me. Gavin McDonald said, joined late. Have you heard about Clough and Meyer having trouble getting the visas renewed? Yes. Yeah, Greg McManus says, I think Clough is getting his visa paperwork done before the semester starts. Meyer is finishing up with his protein. That's exactly what I heard, Greg. We're looking at the same source, clearly. Motor City Boiler says, he's talking to Joe, but he says, pulled over on 25 southwest of Lafayette, I think. So Edie was pulled over on 25. So there you go. And I'm not surprised that he was moving, man, because I think, was it a 55? He was going 100 miles per hour. So that's moving. Maniacally Steve says, checking in from a work trip to Oklahoma. We've got a lot of exotic locations. Oklahoma. Ooh. Oklahoma, the tie-in with Oklahoma. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe the U.S. Open winner was from Oklahoma, right? I think that's true. His story is ridiculous, by the way, and that putt was amazing. Greg Mann says, funny thing is a Shadur Sanders speeding story hit about the same time yesterday. Yeah, I saw that, and I don't think his was very severe either. It was something like that going 100 in a... I mean, it's not good. I'm not telling you. Boiler Down's not endorsing it, but I don't know if it's that big of a deal. I mean, like... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Not going to make that big of a deal out of this. Jarvis said, fellow quad survivor here as well. I am a 3-year quad survivor, but truth be told, I had 2 years that were just excellent. I was kind of living large. I had a southwest fourth floor mega rooms up there. It's just me and one other person. So I think one of the rooms I lived in with just one other person is a 5-man room was last year. So absolutely insane there, but it was really good to have just one roommate in there. Motor City Boiler says, I'm worried about Meyer and his armed forces requirement. I think that's a fair concern. Yeah, I'm not going to get into politics too much. You guys probably can guess what I think about politics. I've hinted at it plenty. Some of you really know me, but I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to talk about war and world events unless it gets really... Well, it is pretty serious. So praying for people in harm's way, I can tell you that much. Praying for freedom-loving people everywhere. I don't care what part of the world they're from. Praying that we don't go, things don't spiral and get out of control. I mean, 3 different theaters of danger right now in the world. All that stuff's scary, but it does feel like the good guys are winning in the Middle East. And that's enough. I think I just said a lot. Jarvis just said 1 year at Quad West, 1 year at Harrison, 1 year at Hillenbrand, and 3 on staff at TARC. I was on staff at TARC as well. How about that? TARC Sharks is what they say. But yeah, I was an RA at TARC my senior year. So you and I have that in common. But man, you were traveling, man, all over the place. So I went out Campus West after a year at the Quad. Greg Menace says, I would have taken Cary over Hillenbrand in hindsight. Hillenbrand had no culture, no traditions. We used to go to the grill over at Cary or Park instead. Yeah, the Hillenbrand was really, really, it's like being in a hospital. Very nice building, and you guys had air conditioning. And Cary Quad, we had none of that. But yeah, the culture at Cary Quad was fun, generally fun. People badmouth Cary Quad. I had a tiny room my freshman year, Southeast 116, looking across the street at the Pike House almost, and it was hot as hell in that room. My memory tells me it was always hot, but that's not true. But I liked Cary Quad. I liked it. Formative years, good time. And then TARC to finish out. Ed Albanese, the gummy bear king of Wiley Hall, says Wiley Hall rules. MSP 138 says a lot of Tennessee and Illinois fans are making, did the cop get a foul called on him? Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, Illinois fans are funny, aren't they? They're just funny people. They're hilarious. All their jokes, I got jokes for days. And generally they make my funny parts. Just laugh. My funny parts. Yeah, Greg Mass says the Wiley Grill was good too. Yeah, at Tark we had like a convenience store my senior year, but I worked at the Night Spot along with Jay Money, so I like the Night Spot. It is mammoth now. It's so much bigger. Is it better now? I don't know. You can decide. You should go back and visit it though. If you used to live in Cary or used to go to the Night Spot Grill, next time on campus, go check it out. It is almost unrecognizable from the olden days. And I also worked across the hall from the Night Spot at the mailroom right there, and that's not there anymore. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's call it a day. I'm just talking in 30 minutes, and that's a quick cast. That's a legit quick cast, and it would have been way shorter if I wouldn't have sat there and talked to you guys about all the goodness of Cary Quad, the Night Spot, Hillenbrand, and so on. Hammer down. God bless you. Talk to you soon. See you later.